am I sitting?
I'm going to sit right here if that's okay with you. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can switch with you. You prefer? You want to sit here?
No,
What do you
this
want?
is fine.
That's good. Okay, she just put these slippers. Are you ready? Oh,
I guess we better.
I don't know if we are.
2 or 3 more people.
Okay.
Maybe give it a couple minutes.
Joe, will you need your water over by you when you give your talk?
No. It's on that here what time
I mean, I can hand it to you. I'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to test the mic first. Can everybody hear me? Okay? All right, great. So welcome, everyone here in the sanctuary, all your bright and shiny faces on this beautiful day. And I also extend a welcome to all of our YouTube guests, and we welcome you here as well. And we know that we are all one, joined together, whether we are on YouTube or here present in the sanctuary. So we're happy to have all of you here, and I am so grateful to be here today. And I'm grateful to be here today. My name is Sandy Spurgeon as platform assistant to our beloved Reverend Joe Sloan. So I'm very happy to be his platform assistant today. And we welcome also Drew Towsley, who's going to be doing our music today. And thank you, Drew, as he lifts our spirit in song. So I'd like to also welcome anyone who might be new today. If you could raise your hand, we have a packet of information for you. Oh, looks like we're all friends today, have been here before. Oh, there are? Am I not seeing hands? Oh, there's 2 new. Well, if you would like to pick, if you're new today and you'd like to pick a packet up, we'd be happy to hand it to you after service. All right. Okay, so let's get settled in, be fully present here in the sanctuary or on YouTube, wherever you are, seated in a restful place as we begin. And we begin by lighting our Christ candle. In the beginning was the one presence of the undivided and unmanifest, pure Spirit of life, light, and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness and its love in the visible form of creation. We acknowledge this presence within us and as us, the creative energy of the divine feminine and masculine expressing in all our giftedness and creativity. We acknowledge this presence in our companion, Mother Earth, and in all sentient beings. This universal presence in everything we call the Christ. We light this candle as a visible reminder of that Christ presence, expressing in, as, and through us in this present now moment. It is the truth. Let us own it. And now we will stand for our opening song. I can see clearly now.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the rain has gone. All bad feelings disappear. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue sky. I think I can feel it now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the people who are watching from cyberspace. You know, when the main man is not here, the crowd kind of dwindles down. It's a time to take off, so I'm not offended by that. And we probably have a big crowd on cyberspace. And how many of you, do people on cyberspace, if you all raise your hand? Try to count the numbers, yeah. So, happy to be here, always happy to be here. This was, of course, the church that we began now 22 years ago, and it keeps getting gooder and gooder all the time. It does, it always has. I'm to do the invocation. I've always found that word a little strange, even though I've done many invocations over the years. Last 26 or 7 years that I've been a minister. And it's invoking the presence of God, but we really don't need to invoke the presence because the presence is with us at all times. The only thing we ever have to do is excite our own awareness. I like that word, to excite the awareness of the presence of God in us. There's a beginning of a prayer that kind of goes, the Christ presence of God is quickened in me, and it, you sing over here. I am aware the Christ presence of God is quickened in me. I am grateful the Christ presence of God is quickened in me. It's a good way to start. Good to be with you. God bless all here.
So we've come to our time of prayer. We have a list of prayer requests that will be showing up on the screen. And I just ask you all to go into your hearts. And as we see these names and I repeat them, if we could just set the intention that each name on our prayer list, as it is read, they are bathed in love and their highest good comes to them. Always praying with the highest intention for the highest good for all. Christopher Zimwalt, John Zimwalt, David Patrick, Susan Healy Harmon, Magdalene Jackal, Sharon Watson, Ron and Vanessa Stewart, Rachel Swan, Heidi and Mark Cloffer, Linda Berkemeyer, Frank Potts, Melody Jewell, Carolyn Duty and family, Angelica for the passing of her mom, Ernest Zerny, Lindsay Brooke and her cat Taz, Zion Morgan, Bree Seitz, Michelle Harris, Saxton, Jennifer Mucci, Pavel Jedlika, Forrest Newey, Tamara Montre, Fred Metzer, Mike Simpson, Dorothy Wheeler, Robin and Stephen Nola, Mary Lynn Peters, Michael McCure, and we also pray for peace everywhere throughout our world. And for whom else do we pray? Please, you're welcome to say out loud or silently anyone you'd like to add to this prayer. We can join together. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as our lives, the all-loving goodness of God, and all is well. Amen. So now we have the reading of, I believe we have the reading of the daily word. Can you give me your, sorry, I have to get my cheat sheet. No. So the daily word today is gratitude. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. If you'd like to repeat that with me. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. What a joy it is to feel gratitude rising from my heart and filling my mind. Feeling grateful makes me aware of the all-encompassing presence of God, including the divine within me. When I live from my spiritual nature, gratitude becomes the song of my heart. I don't need to wait for a reason to feel grateful. When I live with an attitude of gratitude, I find the good in every situation, the blessing that can come from any adversity, and the presence of God in every aspect of life. Practicing gratitude opens my eyes to the blessings that are present and opens my heart to receive even more. I give thanks for an unlimited world, blissful peace, and perfect wholeness. And Psalm 95:2, Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. Again, gratitude is my natural state of mind. I just lost it. All right. So now we have a very special situation. We're going to do a different meditation. We're going to introduce Jedamali to you. So I invite you to just get comfortable in your seat as we enter into this time of meditation. Just be really centered, open your hearts to receive and be in the stillness of this meditation. And we begin.
Comfortably in an upright position. Close your eyes and start to follow your breath, noticing the inhalation and the exhalation. Allow your breath to become longer, smoother, deeper. And on each exhalation, use the out-breath to release any tension in your body. And start to see your breath as a helpful, rhythmic device that you can follow to produce calm, ease, and openness within your being. Notice as you follow your breath that your mind becomes quieter. And in that ensuing stillness, you are able to choose the internal environment that you wish to activate. Now, as the breath comes in, feel as if your heart is being warmed by a light. You can visualize this light coming from anywhere around you, or perhaps it comes from within you. Regardless, feel that this light is warming your heart. And as the heart warms, it expands and becomes illumined. And each time you take an in-breath, the heart grows even warmer, even brighter. Each time you breathe out, you are able to send this light and this warmth out into your environment. And let us hold in our mind something or someone that we are particularly grateful for. And as we visualize this person or place, perhaps it is an animal, perhaps it is a thing, and feel that the light and the warmth from your heart that you have generated is being sent to this person in the form of appreciation. So now on each in-breath, feeling the breath fanning that warmth light so that it continues to grow. And on each out-breath, sending forth that warmth and that light to what you are truly grateful for. Continue to hold that appreciation. Feel how it travels and reaches its recipient. Notice the beautiful quality of appreciation, how it is the very essence of warmth and light. Feel how the breath supports you in your intention, in your practice. And in keeping this rhythmic focus of generating the warmth and light and sending it forth. Just feel that your heart is smiling. Happy to be taking part in this practice. Happy to be of service. And then let the light and the warmth from your heart envelop your whole being. And then move steadily outward in every direction. To meet all life everywhere. Blessings be.
So you're welcome to maintain this stillness within, or you may join Drew in the next song. Blessing to the world.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice, the spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice, the spirit spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice, a spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Drew. Quiet. I'll try to be noisier. This is a good experience for me because I've never sat and given a Sunday talk, and I'm glad to know that Jerry has been using this, and they haven't brought this up just for me. I haven't gone that far. It kind of reminds me, too, of some of the nicer bar stools that I've seen in some of the better drinking establishments that I used to visit about 35 years ago. Fortunately not since. You could usually tell the price you were going to pay for the drinks by the quality of the bar stools. The other thing was the shortness of the skirts of the ladies, waitresses. You know, you could almost measure how much the drink was going to cost by how high their skirts were. Information you pick up along the way that's no longer useful, but I'm going to start off with something a little bit different this morning. I've been asked by one of the board members, and I don't notice that he's here. Maybe he just wanted me to do this, but he didn't want to hear it. Or maybe he's watching on cyberspace. But he he said, people don't know what you do now. You know, I did pioneer this ministry now 22 years ago with my wife Lynn and her mom and dad and Leslie and a whole bunch of family and friends 22 years ago. We had a large church big brick and mortar church in Kansas City that we were serving on 10 acres, but we always wanted to come back to California, and I happened to be sitting at the desk of the lady who was in charge of assignments at the headquarters when she got a phone call from the couple who were doing a ministry here in Grass Valley. It had kind of dwindled down to practically nothing, and they were telling her that they were going to pack it in. I actually went down the hall, borrowed a computer, and put in an application to start a new ministry in Grass Valley, and it was fairly quickly accepted. And here we are, 22 years later. And this is what Lynn and I had in mind when we started, something that would go on beyond us, and and continue. And it is, and getting better all the time. But anyhow, we were, like I say, we were successful from the beginning. I was elected to the regional board almost immediately for some reason. I plan on, when I get to heaven, if we believe that there's a heaven, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be elected to the board. And I will change some things. But anyhow, I was elected to the board of the region. Our West Central region extends from Eureka up in the north on the coast all the way down to Bakersfield, and includes also Reno. So that was good. And then within a matter of weeks, by an unusual set of circumstances, I was asked to become the regional representative. Each region, we have 9 regions, counting Canada, and they form what we call the standards team, and they meet monthly, and sometimes more than that, and look at policy for all of Unity worldwide, and report that to the board. And So that was a busy thing right off the bat. And also as a regional representative, you look out for all the churches within our region. Back then, about 44 churches. Church having some difficulties, you help them out. Do board trainings, go and speak there, and answer the phone a lot. People have questions, and so it was a busy job. And then I was asked along the way to be part of what we call our ethics review system. We do have a code of conduct, like most organizations. It's pretty stringent. You're not allowed to date anyone in your church, but Lynn and I were married before I became a minister, so it was okay. Things like that, and some things were a lot more difficult than that. And if there is an apparent violation of the Code of Ethics, a team is formed to do a review. And for many years I have been mentoring usually the person who's been accused of something, mentor that person through the process. Sometimes it takes many months. And you interview a lot of people. So that's a busy thing. I also have been involved in, if a minister is hasn't been with a church for a couple years, he or she has to apply to get back in to serve a church, a regular church, and so that involves a review process as well, and I've done a lot of those. I kind of asked, no, I did more than kind of ask. I asked to back off from that a little bit, and I no more got an answer to that than I get a call from the new chairperson for the Board of Unity Worldwide Ministries. Would I be part of a task team that would review the whole process? And she and the other person who was going to chair it both said the same thing. You were the first person we called. How do you say no to that? So I said yes. And that's about where I am right now. I continue to do the other work with other ministries. I've sponsored two of our students through the process to ordination, and they were ordained. I have another lady in Tahoe I'll be working with, I continue to work with. So there's lots to do, more than I could do if I wanted to do it all, but I'm glad to do the work. I do receive some small compensation for it, but as Lynn can tell you, it costs us money to do this work. We spend a lot more than we ever receive, and that's okay, because we pick up a lot of God points along the way, and that's always important to us. Several years ago, when I was about to retire from this ministry, being a senior minister, I wrote to Dorothy Pearson. Dorothy and Phil Pearson, some of you may know, some of you may not, but they were like the Charles and Myrtle Fillmore of the modern era. They had the big church in Sacramento. They had the TV show, The Best Is Yet to Be, for 20 years out of Sacramento. But Dorothy was a mentor when we started this ministry, and so I wrote to her and told her I was thinking about retiring. She wrote back to me and said, God does not recognize retirement. And so I didn't. About 3 years ago, I received the Charles Fillmore Award, our co-founder award, and someone eventually asked me, how do you think you received that? And I said, I really didn't know, but maybe because I say yes all the time. I hope it's more than that, but I've continued to respond, and that allows me to segue into what I'm going to talk about today. Respond to the better angels of my nature. That's the title of my talk today. You may remember the phrase, but it came from Lincoln's inaugural address back in 1861. he was trying to reassure the people of the South that the world was not going to turn upside down, and to appease the people of the North. It was about slavery. But he was hoping to quell the energy around the people who were trying to divide the nation. You could believe that. Why would they want to divide our nation? But this is what he said at the latter part of that talk. He said, "We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies, though passion may have strained. It must not break the bonds of affection, the mystic chains of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone, although this broad land, and yet swell the chorus of the Union as surely as it must be, moved by the better angels of our nature." The better angels of our nature. But the two sides did not choose to understand what he was talking about. They ignored the better angels of their nature, and they went to war, as we know. Why do we think that in order to resolve an issue that we must kill the other side? And we are still killing each other in so many different ways. So the bonds of affection of which he spoke broke, discarding the better angels of their true nature. They went to war, forgetting that all those people that he was speaking to were not enemies. We don't have, one of the things we teach is that no one or no thing is against you. Gosh, if you can learn that lesson, your life would be so much more beautiful all the time. We don't have enemies. We only have friends. We make enemies, but we have to do that on ourselves. And we do that under the guidance of people who have no right to tell us that. We speak of, do you believe in angels? I would need to ask. You don't have to raise your hands. But we do. How many people believe in angels? One dozen. But so you're in for a wonderful surprise. It reminded me of the Irish story, one of my favorite stories, the Englishman asking the Irishman, he said, do you believe in fairies, in the little folk and all that? And the Irishman said, no. He says, I don't believe in all that, he says. But they're there. It's kind of the same with angels. You know, most of us believe in angels. We don't exactly know what that means, but the angels are in the Bible. The angel Gabriel spoke to both Mary and to Joseph, appears at many other times. They're messengers of God. That's all they are, special messengers of God. And we may ignore them, and often do, mostly do, I guess, but they're there. They're there. I pinned a little angel on me this morning. I had one in a drawer, so I thought in case I needed some help. I have a friend who says that she has at her command 10,000 angels, and she uses them from time to time. And she lives a good life, by the way. She happens to live in Ukiah. I don't know if you're familiar with Ukiah, but there's a Buddhist camp there and a Buddhist temple, and they have within that temple 10,000 Buddhas. It's a chapel of 10,000 Buddhas. And all along the wall in little cubby holes, they have these little statues of the Buddha. It's really impressive, worthwhile seeing, whether you believe in that or not. It's just worthwhile seeing in itself. We speak of babies as angels, don't we? We always refer to the little angel, no matter how they look. And some of them better than others. But it is the closest we really come to being one, to being an angel, until it comes time for us to go home. I've told by people that work in hospice, sometimes, people get ready to pass on to the other side, but some people don't really get ready to do that until 5 minutes before they go. They suddenly recognize who they are and where they're going. But in between those two things, your birth and your passing on to the other side, we allow people to interfere with the thought that we are connected to God in that most particular way. They tend to label us, divide us, separate us, divide us into categories, separate us from one another, and in that process create enemies of friends. There's a story I haven't told for many years, and it fits here, so with your permission, I'll tell you. Other people online can't object at all. So I'm going to go ahead with it. It's the story of the Wimmicks. I don't know if you ever heard that story. It's titled, You Are Special. The Wimmicks were little wooden people. They were all made, all carved by the same woodworker. His name was Eli. And he lived up in his workshop was up on a hill up above the little village where all the Wimmicks lived. Even though they were all carved by the same man, by Eli, they were all different in many ways. Some had big ears and big nose, big eyes. Some were tall, some were short. They dressed differently. And they did what, they all did the same thing, and every day and all day, they all had a box that included some stars, and then they had a box that included gray dots. And all day long, they went about the village sticking labels on one of the stars or dots. If you happen to be a very good-looking wooden Wimmick, real polished, a good paint job, people would put stars on them. If they were talented in some way, could dance or sing in a special way, they'd put stars on them. And if they could run fast, jump high, all those things, they'd garner them stars. There were others, however, in the village that were not so well off. They may have, their paint may have faded, they may have a chip or two on their wooden bodies, and they were not particularly talented. They couldn't jump or run or those things. And so they would get these gray dots. People would put gray dots on them. Such a one was one by the name of Ponticello. Ponticello was one of those. He didn't have any special talents, or he couldn't jump. He tried many times. Often he would try to jump and he would fall, and then people would crowd around and put gray dots on him. And then he would try to explain why it was that he fell, and so that always sounded silly, and so people put more dots on him. And often people would go by and see he had so many dots that he must be a bad wooden person, so they'd put dots on him, just for no particular reason at all. And it got to the point where he just didn't want to be out in the village. He would spend a lot of time at home. The only times he would come out would be with other Wimmicks who had gray dots on them. He felt more comfortable, of course, with them. And then one day, he saw a beautiful Wimmick who had no dots on her at all. No stars, no dots. Her name was Lucia. So he went to speak to her, and he asked her, why do you not have any stickers on you? She says, every day I go up to see Eli, up at his shop, and we sit and talk for a while, and it has helped me in such a way. He said, people still try to put stars or dots on me, but they just slip off. They don't stay. Ever since I've spending time with Eli. So, am I losing my speaking thing here? I need my assistant and some tape. I'll tell you, show business isn't all it's cut out to be. Yeah, okay. I'll keep talking. So Punchinello stayed home most of the time, but he'd look out and see all these people putting stickers on, and he said, that's not right, it's just not right. So he decided he would go to see Eli. So he walked the narrow path up the hill. There was no door, so he could walk in easily. And he was immediately impressed with what he saw. As a matter of fact, too impressed. He saw the stool by the workbench was as tall as he was. And the workbench was so high that he had to stand on his tiptoes to see the top of it. And he thought, whoa, this is too much for me. So he heads to go out. And then he hears this deep, beautiful voice call to him, Punchinello. And he turned and he see it was Eli, beautiful beard, good-looking man with a great voice, of course, great voice. And he said, you know my name? And he said, yes, of course I do. I made you. And he decided he would, maybe you better stay. And Eli reached down, he says, it's so good to see you. And he picked him up and put him on top of the workbench. And he could see he's got all these things. He says, my people have given you a lot of stickers. You know they have no right to do that. You are perfect just the way you are, because I created you, and I don't make mistakes. And he said, well, that's why I came here. He said, because I met this beautiful woman who had no stickers. And he said, yes, that was Lucia. And he says, well, how does that happen with her? He says, because she comes to see me every day, and we talk. And I convinced her that it's more important what I think of her, what she thinks of herself, than what other people think of her. They have no right to speak against you. They have no right to label you, put you in any category, or put black marks on you. And so any stickers that are put on her, they just slips off. And she comes to see me every day. He said, Punchinello, I'd like you to do the same thing. Come see me every day, and we'll talk about it. And I will convince you that you are perfect the way you are, that you are special, special to me, and that's all that really counts. So, set Punchinello on the ground, he started for the entranceway. And the last thing that Punchinello heard was Eli called to him, and remember, you are special. And Punchinello thought to himself, I think he really believes it. That may be the truth. And when he thought that to himself, a gray dot fell to the ground. And of course, in time, they all went away, connecting to Eli. Well, that's the story. How many dots have you placed in the last week? Don't raise your hand. Maybe how many dots did you place today? Or maybe what I'm telling you is so annoying, maybe you're wanting to put a dot on me. That's okay, I'm connected today for sure, and it just slipped off. How many stars have you given to people? I happen to be in one of those lucky positions of the work that I do. I get an opportunity to give many stars to many people. Many of them are here in this room. And they stay with them as long as you accept what is given to you. If somebody gives you a star, you accept that, that's okay. But they give you a gray dot. It won't stick on you unless you accept it for yourself. A criticism that's given to you, it won't stick with you unless you yourself accept it. It's up to you. And it's best to have an Eli that you can connect with. And you know who that is. You know who that is. Should the opinion of other people distract us from what is our true self? Our true nature. Our nature is of God. That hasn't changed from the time you were born, and it won't change at all. Should they be able to dictate to you who it is that you're supposed to like or not like, what groups you are supposed to like or not like? You know, I belong to this group, and they're not the same as that group. That doesn't mean a thing. I almost said a bad word, which is a good word. What can we, we're always complaining about what's happening in the world. The troubles of the world, the troubles in our own country, we have plenty enough. There's plenty to go around. And for better or worse, you can pick your own sources of information. God, that's so important. The best source of information you'll ever have is within your own heart. And don't let anybody ever take that away from you. Some people just have to stop watching the news entirely because you cannot help but accept some of that you hear. And if you accept any of it, it sticks to you. So better not even listen. Find a source that is not prejudiced. That's your own heart. You have within you the source of truth. It is your nature to love. It is not your nature to hate. It is not. You weren't born that way. You developed it, or let somebody teach you that somewhere along the way. So give stars and throw away all the black dots that ever come to you. I have the dish on the back of the table in the back that has stars on them. I see a fine member of the board about to stick stars on some people he loves. Do that. And we can do it. We can do it throughout our day, throughout our life. How do we do it? We just need to be still sometimes. Still, and call upon the better angels of our nature. They're all about us. They're all about us. And I promise you, I absolutely promise you, that they will listen with great joy. I feel very joyous being with you here today. God bless all here and all those with whom we pray. Thanks.
It's the blessing. It's the offering, love offering.
When do we do? Oh, they do it announced later. We're going to do the love offering. Usually, minister's favorite part of the day. I had an experience. I got time to share, but yeah, I do. This was before I was a minister, but we had a church in Auburn, and I was a board president at the time, and I was giving a talk that day because we had no minister at that particular time. And were doing 2 services, and I'd given an excellent talk. I know it was excellent because people told me so. I had stars all over me. But so when I'm giving the second talk, there's a lady sitting in the front who I knew quite well, and she seemed to be getting like almost as if she was going to faint. And I figured it was just because the power of what I had presented to her. But eventually she did faint. And as luck would have it, there was a couple sitting right behind her. They were both doctors, and so they started to administer to her. She's right there in the aisle. So then, what do? Call for an ambulance, certainly. Do I remove everybody from the church so the ambulance can, or the person can make it? And then it struck me, and that's when I knew I was supposed to be a minister. We haven't taken the offering yet. So I had them gently remove her, and we continued to sing and did the offering. So let's take our offering now. If you place the offering in your up against your heart, if you'd like to do that, because it comes from your heart. And always remember, you cannot give more than you receive. It will come back to you in so many ways. So give freely and easily. It's a great joy to give in that way. And it works. It really works. I'm supposed to read something?
It's right behind you.
Let's read that together. My heart is open to receive and grateful for all the good I give, fearlessly and with love. Amen. Drew.
Why don't you show me all the stuff you're made of? Both know we're growing wiser through the years. We're free of the circle, downward spiraling fear. Anything is possible as long as you are here. Climbing a mountain starts with just one footstep. Building a future starts with just one day. The road lies before us, the road of our choosing. And anything is possible once you started on your way. No one can sway us. No storm can sway us. Oh, quench our burning desire. Anything is possible once you're striven for the fire. It's time for moving in a new direction. These skins we are through with are falling by our sides. New life's emerging, metamorphosing. And anything is possible when you find that you have wings. Hard times may find us, but only remind us of how much we uphold and share. And anything is possible once you've taken to the air. Why don't you show me? Why don't you show me? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We accept these offerings that you have given, and we dedicate them to God's work through this ministry and through Unity Worldwide. Amen.
So we come to our time for announcements. Thank you, Drew, for your beautiful music. So we're very excited to announce Jetta Molly we will be hosting a workshop with Jetta Molly here at our center. Very excited about that. The title of the workshop is Cultivating Collective Intelligence. It's a 2-day workshop, October 15th and 16th, 2022, right here in the sanctuary. There will be a free event on Friday, October 14th. And all the details you can find, of course, in the e-bulletin. Also, just to kind of get ourselves ready for that wonderful workshop, we will be doing a Jetta Molly meditation on Zoom until the event in October. It will change each week on Monday, and the meditation schedule will be in the e-bulletin. So please, if you're not on the e-bulletin, make sure you sign up for that. Inspiring Women upcoming meetups on Saturday, August 27th. The meetup is a pool party at Catherine Beatty's home. Pool time starts at 10:30 with now familiar potlucks salad bar at 12:30. Parking is limited, so please arrange a carpool. And something new, this is pretty exciting. We are calling all artists as a part of a fundraising effort for this year. We're planning on hosting a wine and cheese and arts event. So the date to be announced. And we're putting out a call to all our artists who might be willing to donate a piece of artwork for the event. We're open to donations of art pieces in various media, and stay tuned for more details about that. Another exciting thing happening now that we're all kind of coming back together gradually is our energy healing clinics are returning. We're very excited about offering that again. The clinics will be on the second Sunday of each month, beginning Sunday, September 11th. And again, see your e-bulletin for modalities being offered and for details on how to reserve a session for yourself. If you would like to receive our weekly e-bulletin, please see the sign-up sheet on the table at the back of the sanctuary. All right, so that's bringing our gathering to a close. We'd like to close again with our prayer of protection, so if you'd like to stand, and if you'd like to hold hands, that would be wonderful. Okay. As we begin.
Thank you.
The light of God surrounds us.
Golf and mowing.
I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are,
God is, because I am. All is well. And Drew will lead us in our closing song, I Choose Love.
Gotta turn on the guitar first. Peace in my heart is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because we choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We son of planet is growing because we choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. We choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. We choose love. We choose love. We choose love.
So, blessings to everyone. Thank you for being here. Let that inner star shine brightly today. Have a wonderful week.